All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. A real treat now. Someone does a tremendous job for our country, for Real America's Voice, our national correspondent. He's all over the world. Today, he's in Austin, Texas. Ben Bergquam is with us, and we're going to find all about what's going on today with the How Many More rally. Ben, how are you, sir? Welcome.
I am doing good, Jeff. Great to be back with you. I just actually got back in from... we were down on the border in Brownsville yesterday, the day before, and just got in early this morning. And now we're ready to rock and roll. This event starts right after your show, so it's going to be live for all the audience. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be live from 2 o'clock Eastern all the way to 5 o'clock Eastern. And really, it's a very simple message. How many more fentanyl deaths? How many more of our children are going to have to die? How many more angel families are we going to have? How many more illegals is this fraudulent regime going to allow across our southern border before something happens? And the folks of Texas, and it's also pressure on Governor Abbott to stop just talking the talk and actually do something about this.
You know, Ben, and I've talked about this a lot on my program, I like Governor Abbott. I think he's a good man. He talks a good game, but I really don't see where he delivers. Time and time again, I've seen a lot of talk, but little action. Tell me if I'm wrong about that.
No, you're not. And, I'll say this. The one thing, the Operation Lone Star that they put into place, utilizing sheriff's resources, so they've put some money into using DPS and sheriff to chase these guys down. I would say that's the one thing that he's done that's really had an impact. They apprehend a lot of these smugglers as they're coming up. Basically, Border Patrol doesn't have the resources or time to deal with it because Joe Biden and Mayorkas have opened the borders. And so it's up to the sheriffs and law enforcement in Texas to stop this. The money they've spent on that program has been money well spent, I would say. Mm-hmm. But everything they've done with the National Guard has simply been burning money. They send the National Guard down to our border, and they basically become babysitters for the cartels as illegals come across. He has said that he's declared this an invasion, but he hasn't done anything to actually repel the invasion. And so that's the main message from people down here is if you're going to call it an invasion, treat it like an invasion. Right. Use National Guard. You have the constitutional authority to do it. Send them down to the border and don't help them. We witnessed it yesterday. Actually, Anthony Aguero, who's here with me, he was droning the border. I was on the Mexico side. He was droning it, and he witnessed National Guard troops throwing ropes down to illegals to help them out of the river to get them into America. Like that should never happen. They should be turning them away.
Exactly. So you document all this, which is incredible for us to have this documentation. We need to know what's going on there. We hear from Alejandro Mayorkas that the border is secure. We hear that all these things that Texas are doing, and we need the truth. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. My son lives in Austin. He tells me how liberal Austin is. So are there a lot of counter-protesters there, Ben, that don't appreciate the truth being told about the border?
I'm looking for them because I always enjoy a little counter-protest. Most of the time they don't know what they're talking about, and so you can have some fun with them. But so far, it's not like if you did this event in San Francisco, we always call Austin the San Francisco of Texas, not affectionately. And, but if you did this event in San Francisco, you'd have Antifa and BLM, and you'd have all the La Razas coming and attacking you violently. The nice thing about Texas is all the protesters know that they can get shot here because this is an open, a Second Amendment state. So it's a little more subdued usually, but you will get some crazies out here. I mean, I do see some protesters about 100 yards off to my side, but they're basically out there with their signs saying how upset they are, but they don't get as violent here because you actually have law enforcement, thankfully, in Texas that you don't have in places like Washington, D.C. or California or Portland, Oregon, run by all the Democrats.
So you're going to be hosting this rally, and who are going to be some of the people you're going to feature, Ben?
Well, it'll be myself, Terrence Bates in the control room in Denver, and then Anthony Aguero will be with me as well. He's actually standing off to my side right here, too. And then we're going to have an awesome lineup. So Mark Meckler, this is being put on by Convention of States. Mark Meckler is going to be emceeing it. We've got Laura Logan who's speaking. We've got Congressman Chip Roy. And of course, we've got, I think, the most important one, Uncle Ted Nugent from Real America's Voice News. He's going to be one of the headliners out here, and many, many more. So 3 hours, action-packed. And then we're going to be using a lot of our footage as well. We just got back from the border. Some of the stuff we did down in the Darien Gap and the shootout we were involved in a couple weeks ago, and what's coming up. We have a special Law and Border series coming up. It'll be a multi-part series showing that whole trip. We went from the Colombian-Venezuela border through Colombia, through Panama, and then back. And so all of that, we'll kind of highlight some of that. So it's going to be a really great show.
The reporting that you've done has been outstanding, just outstanding. And let me ask you before I let you go, how many more? That is the question. And how many have we had so far? I mean, what numbers, what are the real numbers that have come into this country during the 2 years and 3 months of the Biden administration?
Well, they say around 6 million. My guess is it's closer to 10 at least. The numbers that we get from D.C. are always they're always underestimated. And the numbers I used to get from Border Patrols, they said they were capturing about a third, sometimes only, of what's actually coming across. Now we have fewer Border Patrol agents because they're all being used on other places to babysit and be the cartel Uber, that we have even fewer agents out there. So I think we're probably close to 10 million since Biden's taken office. But the problem is nobody really knows how many of those are criminals, how many of those are rapists and murderers, how many of those are terrorists. And that's the big question. The bottom line is they have one duty, and they've broken that duty. They've broken that oath.
And of those, at least 1 million are gotaways, right, Ben, where we have no idea where they are, who they are, border, they could be cartel members, agents, terrorists, right?
Yeah, and that's that goes back to the number 6 million that we know of, 1 million that are gotaways potentially, but those are the ones that we know of. Those are the ones that they actually tracked and got foot signs or saw on cameras. There are so many more that have come across that we just don't even know about, and that's the problem. It's national suicide. It really is national suicide if this continues. And I don't know how many more as a nation we can take. Can we take another 2 years of this? I don't know.
We can't, Ben. And my final question to you, is this not an impeachable offense for not only the Secretary of Homeland Security, but also the President of the United States? Are these not impeachable offenses?
Yeah, no, it's treason. I mean, I think it's beyond an impeachable offense. It's not just high crimes and misdemeanors, it's treason. And so I think if we actually had a Justice Department that wasn't focused on going after their political enemies from January 6th, we would see that. The impeachment would require Senate, though. Obviously, we're not going to get that because they're purely political. But it absolutely is. It's not, in my opinion, it's not just impeachable, it's prosecutable. Yeah. And that's, that's really, but until that happens, we need to demand that the Republican governors do what they can constitutionally, and we need to put pressure on Congress to defund all of the NGOs that are profiting off of this.
Right. All right, my friend, I agree 100%. Thank you for the work you do. Thank you so much for being there to be involved in this great event. We look forward to covering it from 2 to 5 Eastern. How many more rally from Austin, Texas, the state capital. Thank you, Ben Bergquam. Appreciate you.